And blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning here at KIDO Talk Radio.
This has been a long road for you. Started back in 2012. Yesterday, you actually heard the words. You heard that verdict. Just tell me what your reaction was to that.
I was thrilled. The United States Supreme Court has decided that we can try and enter the wedding business again and realize that I serve everybody, and it's just that I don't create cakes for every occasion that people ask me to create.
There you have it. That is Jack Phillips, the baker who was sued, who was run out of business, who, by his own perseverance, inspired by God, took this case to the Supreme Court and won. Now, you're going to hear a lot, you've heard a lot from the Pablum-puking libs who say, oh, it's a narrow decision. 7-2 is not a narrow decision, right? That is from the Today Show with Savannah Guthrie and Hoda, right? Hoda Kotb. And they interviewed Jack Phillips. So big ups to the Today Show. We'll get your reaction to this at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. But, you know, the Today Show, they wanted to make sure that they covered all bases. And if you are a fan of media or are influenced by the news media, you think to yourself, who's looking out for the conservatives, the people that value traditional America? Thankfully, we do our very best to honor traditional America, to love the flag, to love America. And if you're a baker or a candlestick maker, and if you think that you don't want to do something and it's because of your religious beliefs, that's not discrimination, and that's what the Supreme Court said yesterday.
Kristen, let me ask you, because this was a ruling overwhelmingly in Jack's favor, a 7-2 ruling, but many legal scholars have said it's narrow in scope. For some,
you know, I love this. We've got to make sure that we diffuse, demean, destroy the 7-2 verdict. When's the last time on a cultural issue that the Supreme Court ruled 7-2? But it's narrow, and you know, you have people, and maybe they should just out themselves as being libs. And I don't know why the libs are like the mythical Sith in Star Wars, where they're like chameleons and pretend to be something they're not. Just be a lib. Embrace being a lib. You know, this is a narrow ruling. No, this was a shot across the bow that people of faith will not be discriminated against. But on the Today Show, they had to make sure that you got not only the other side of the story, but 95% of the other side of the story.
Somebody who is just watching this morning, does this mean that any baker or any company...
Well, and I'm sorry to interrupt Savannah Guthrie on 580 AM, 107.5 FM, but you know something? The idea that you're going to say that anybody can just... No, this is about faith. This is about the Colorado Commission on Human Rights bullying someone, discriminating, and being called out by the justices of the Supreme Court for demeaning somebody of faith. You know, for how many years have we all been marginalized because of our faith in God? It was the founding principle of America.
Could just refuse services to a gay couple on religious grounds now?
Absolutely not. The court made very clear, as we made clear in our argument before the court, that Jack loves and serves anyone who walks into a store, but he doesn't express all messages. And that was critical for the court's decision. Justice Kennedy made clear that religious hostility by the government has no place in a pluralistic society. And that was critical to his ruling.
You know, that is such a great point, and we have seen this in the Treasure Valley. We have seen this in Idaho. We have seen this in the Bay Area. Whew. We need a lot of prayers for the Bay Area. This religious hostility from the government against people of faith. That's really what this is about. Do not be fooled by the charlatans. Do not be fooled by everybody else that says that this case is not a big deal. It is a big deal. And that's what we're going to talk about at 580-5436. 580-KIDO, how they continue to try and marginalize people of faith. And here you have a humble baker standing up to these bigots and winning. I think that's a good thing. I know that's a good thing. Doug in Mountain Home, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller. Hello, Doug.
Hello, Kevin. I'll try not to get all freaking, wound up like yesterday. No, I agree with you 100%. I mean, you see it as it's just been going along and going along. They don't like, I'm just going to say, they don't like God. They do not like God because it shows, like God says, it brings them out of the dark into the light, and they see their sin. But what I wanted to talk about was that lady calling in about the Band of Brothers. I've had that movie that for, 10 years. I bet I've watched it 6-7 times. And the word that every time I watch it that comes to my mind is called integrity, Kevin. My dad was part of that era. World War II, he was in the Navy. And they captured U-boat 505. My dad was part of that. And he was proud to be of it. I'm proud that he was proud to be of it. He's gone now. But them guys were totally different than what we see now. I mean, them guys stepped up to the plate, so we don't speak German and Japanese. And I will always say that. And this country better wake up. You see it just like like you said, a humble baker. You don't think they wouldn't take away your rights? That's what this republic is about. So we can be free to choose and be a liberal or a conservative, and wake up, people. Just wake up. God wants the best for us all. Put him in your life. What have you got? It's like President Trump said to the African American community when he was running. He said, what have you got to lose to vote for? Well, what do you have to lose to trust God? The only thing free in life is the love of God, period. And it wasn't free to him. It's free to us, but it surely wasn't free to him. But respect our country and our flag. Gobs of integrity men died for that. That's all I got to say, Kevin. Keep up the good work. God bless you.
God bless you, Doug. God bless you. Phone number is 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Now, you have people that are upset with this ruling. This is the gay couple that sued the baker, that thought they won. They went to the Supreme Court, and they lost earlier on CNN, the liberal network. Remember, anything associated with CNN, they're libs on, as we take a look at what they're saying. This is Charlie Craig sued the baker because he would not make the same-sex wedding cake.
Center of this.
And, it's interesting. We're talking about a wedding cake, right? Crazy.
Case. He spoke moments ago. Listen to what he said.
I told these two men when they came to the store, I'll sell you cookies, brownies, birthday cakes. I'll make you custom cakes. I'll make anything.
It's just the art of the cake.
This cake is a specific cake. A wedding cake is a wedding is an inherently religious event, and the cake is definitely a specific message that goes with that. I don't create cakes for Halloween. I wouldn't create a cake that would be anti-American or disparaging against anybody for any reason. Even cakes that would disparage people who identify as LGBT. Cakes have a message, and this is one that I can't create.
Well, here you have it at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Cakes have a message. Forget how tasty they are. Forget the sugar content. But they have a message. And I'm not going to be a part of it. And the Supreme Court said he has the freedom, based on his religion, to not be a part of it. That the bullies that were behind this are wrong and should be taken back to state court. It's crazy. Attorneys will say family law is the most dangerous. But I got to believe that the wedding industry, mess with a bride or a mom or whatever, or they can be I can only imagine. But at 580-5436, why are we not, celebrating Jack Phillips? He wasn't disrespectful to anybody. And this should be a lightning rod to all commissions in Idaho and across the country that you can't discriminate against someone because of their religion.
It's one he says that he can't create. Your reaction to that?
Well, I think it's important that we be clear on this, that Mr. Phillips would not sell us anything for our wedding. And as far as the example of the Halloween cake goes, you know, any human being could buy a Halloween cake, but only a same-sex couple needs a wedding for a so-called same-sex wedding. They're two completely different things. One is based on someone's identity, and one is just a product that any single person could buy.
Well, and I think it's really easy to kind of get caught up on the idea of a cake, but, you know, I don't feel like our case is about a cake. Mm-hmm. It's about getting access to public accommodation.
And I do understand that. The challenge legally, and Justice Kennedy seems to be struggling with this, frankly, is how do you account for the free speech rights? What are the free speech rights and the religious belief rights due to a baker or a different purveyor of any kind of good? What rights do they have in choosing, you know, what they take part in?
Well, you know, I mean, freedom of religion is essential in our country, and that's why it's protected by the Constitution. Mm-hmm. But you cannot practice your faith in a way that harms others or excludes them from public life.
Just had to let that sit for a minute. Again, I get it. It's over a cake. But cakes, I suppose, are important. The broader issue here, as the Supreme Court said 7-2, you cannot disrespect people of faith. That is the win for all of us, right? Liberty Linda, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller. Hello, Liberty Linda.
Yes, good morning, Kevin. You know, it's called freedom. What this country is all about. They could have walked us down the street and gone to another bakery, and, you know, we all have choice. And it's what's so wonderful about our country. You know, I have many, many gay friends, and, you know, they're precious to me for their friendship. But, you know, we have to keep freedom here. I also agree with President Trump. You know, if you can't stand up for our flag and our nation, what are you doing here? And they're actually playing the football. They're actually playing for us. And so anyway, you're absolutely correct this morning. I agree with you. And I love this country, and I love freedom for all.
Right. Well, and you go back to the libs in the press that are trying to marginalize this decision. This was a big win, a huge win for conservative, socially conservative America. And yet you have people going, well, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it does.
It matters a lot, yes. 7-2, absolutely wonderful. And we have to start doing it. We have to start turning the tide for conservatism. But it's not just conservatism. It's for everyone, actually. Most conservatives love most people, all people. And so I think it's a turn for the good. And
yes, Liberty Linda.
Thank you, Kevin, so much. Love your show.
We love you, Liberty Linda.
Okay, have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
580-5436, 580-KIDO. Much more on the Jack Phillips bakery decision. And the president says to the Philadelphia Eagles, you don't want to come here? Good. Get out. Is this the right move? I think so. I'd love to hear from you next. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. You're listening to Kevin Miller on 580 AM, 107.5 FM, KIDO Talk Radio. Blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning here. Phone number is 580-5436, 580-KIDO. One more time, let's hear from Jack Phillips, then more of your phone calls. This is from the Today Show, just happening right now.
So let me ask you, because this was a ruling overwhelming. 7-2 ruling, but many legal scholars have said it's narrow in scope. For somebody who is just watching this morning, does this mean that any baker or any company could just refuse services to a gay couple on religious grounds now?
Absolutely not. The court made very clear, as we made clear in our argument before the court, that Jack loves and serves anyone who walks into a store, but he doesn't express all messages. And that was critical for the court's decision. Justice Kennedy made clear that religious hostility by the government has no place in a pluralistic society. And that was critical to his ruling.
No place in a pluralistic society, religious hostility.
Jack,
Let's hope that we hear more of that, religious hostility. And you know who we can blame for that? Obama. Former President Obama and his hostility to people of faith. The 8 years of persecution. Look at how culturally we've changed. Now, some of you may celebrate it. Others of you, like good old Kay Milley, go, whoa, let's bring back America. And that's why Donald Trump was elected and continues to have a popular mandate as he does.
This has been a long road for you. Started back in 2012. Yesterday, you actually heard the words. You heard that verdict. Just tell me what your long road for you. Started back in 2012. Yesterday, you actually heard the words. You heard that verdict. Just tell me what your reaction was to that.
I was thrilled. The United States Supreme Court has decided that we can try and enter the wedding business again and realize that I serve everybody, and it's just that I don't create cakes for every occasion that people ask me to create.
And there you have it. Sounds like a simple, humble man from the West. Tough to vilify that guy. But you had people spouting off about this. You had the ACLU very upset, saying this is a battle, but we continue on. For what? To deny people of faith their opportunity to say no? I mean, really?
I think if you look at what the bakery was arguing and what the court did here, the bakery may have won the battle, but it's lost the war.
Right. They're coming back. They're going to make sure of this. Does this sound like discrimination to you? It doesn't to me.
In the end, you go into this hoping for a particular, decision, and we didn't get that.
Right. So at 580-5436, this is not a problem in America today because we have people that, sue and sue and sue. Right? And then you have other people that, just go on with their business. But to me, this is a major ruling that is going to start reversing the tide against traditional conservative American values. Look, we're not endorsing discrimination. What we are saying very openly and very honestly is that the government does not have a right to force someone against their will to do something against their own religious beliefs, right?
It wasn't what we were hoping for, of course. But, there were a lot of good things in there, and we really want people to know that this ruling does not invalidate the Colorado Anti-Discrimination Act.
I think it does, especially when you have government officials chastised by the court for going after people of faith. And, of course, we never get our fair shake when we're shake, bake, cake. We never get our fair shake in the court of public opinion, but thankfully we have our morning ritual each and every day. Traffic and weather together. Let's get you to... And I'm Kevin Miller in the morning. Remember, you can check KIDO out at 580 AM, 107.5 FM. And we're at the KIDO Talk Radio app. Also on Alexa, all you have to do is just go to Alexa and go play KIDO Radio, not KIDO Talk Radio, but KIDO Radio. And you will get your chance to buzz in and hang out with Alexa and that sort of thing, or get the app and take us anywhere, and then you can get notifications when we have neat things going on, that sort of thing. So we'll have much more on the Supreme Court siding with the Colorado baker. Our friends at Fox & Friends interviewed Mr. Phillips and his attorney. We'll give you that interview coming up. In addition to that, coming up, we will also take a look at the president saying to the Philadelphia Eagles, you're not the boss of us, right? And our friend Tanya J. Powers will go in-depth in our in-depth segment with Kevin Miller in the morning on Bill Clinton and Me Too and how the former president is struggling with the world we live in today. When he wants to promote a book, instead of promoting a book, people are saying, well, shouldn't you have apologized to Monica Lewinsky? Shouldn't you have resigned? And these are prominent Democratic operatives, both men and women. If you missed our conversation with Lars Larson the other day, this is what Lars brought up right before he broke the story on the Supreme Court decision. We've got a lot going on today. We're so thankful, so blessed to have you with us. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio, 580 AM, 107.5 FM. Good morning, Maggie.
I think if you look at what the bakery was arguing and what the court did here, The bakery may have won the battle, but it's lost the war.
I feel like we've been able to support our community and really bring light to the fact that discrimination happens to the gay community all the time and in so many different circumstances, and really started a public dialogue about that.
In the end, you go into this hoping for a particular, decision, and we didn't get that.
This is a core part of how we treat one another. It's a core part of how business operates. And I think we will defend these values at all costs. We still, just for the record, have a civil rights division.
The whole reason that Dave and I pursued this is because we don't want other couples to go through the same thing. So, it's not just about us, it's about our community as a whole.
There we have it. Kevin Miller in the morning. Much more of your phone calls next on that topic about the Supreme Court decision yesterday. Joining us now, Tanya J. Powers, live from New York, from one coast to another. Well, almost one coast here at KIDO Talk Radio, 580 AM, 107.5 FM. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, this could be a very interesting kibble, as they call it in the business. Bill Clinton rides again, and I know you're a person of esteemed pardon me, I was a Freudian slip there, journalistic integrity. You love your job. You're a veteran journalist. So on your off days, do you get a chance, like Sunday, do you watch the CBS Sunday morning show at all? Not the news show, but the Sunday morning that goes back to Charles Kuralt and
Oh, I love CBS Sunday Morning.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it. I did not get to see it this weekend. I have missed some episodes, but I love that show. I love the format, yeah.
For people that want to get into journalism, writing, and storytelling, I would highly recommend, Jane Pauley does an excellent job of hosting that show. That is such a primer on how to write a story, how to research it, how to tell a story.
It is, and that's one of the things that sadly we are lacking nowadays is the ability of people to tell compelling stories. You're exactly right. They do it really well.
And so as I'm watching CBS's Sunday morning, because this is my life and you have one and I don't, and this is what we call work. Some people actually go out and they build roofs and homes and work. What are you doing? I'm working. Oh, you're always working. Yeah, I got the remote going and I'm watching Mo Rocca, the former comedian from The Daily Show and others from Comedy Central, now has really turned himself into an excellent reporter, asking Bill Clinton, along with a few others, about his new book with James Patterson, then Monica Lewinsky, then the Me Too movement. And I couldn't believe, and it's tough to really describe it on radio, just the Bill Clinton. You ever have that look where you just are so surprised your mouth opens wide when he asks about impeachment and everything else? And it started this whole new insight into the Me Too movement, into Bill Clinton, into Monica Lewinsky.
Yeah, he has been one of the people, I guess, to ask that question. Probably one of the ones everybody's seen this week is that viral video of him talking to the Today Show yesterday, and Craig Melvin, who asked him about the Me Too movement and Monica Lewinsky, and asked if he thought he should apologize to her, and he said no. And last night at an event in Harlem, he was talking about the book there at one of the places in Harlem, and he said he would like to he didn't use the word clarify, but that's kind of what the point was, on a couple of things that may have been lost in that exchange on the Today Show. And he said, and what he said on the Today Show was, I apologize to everybody in the world. And that's where it got kind of contentious, is when he was, saying that. And at the event last night, he said, I may have gotten a little hot under the collar. He did point out the fact that, I guess lending credence to the reason he said he shouldn't have to apologize to her is because he has already apologized. And that's what he made the mention of last night, was that he has apologized to his family, to her family, to the American people, while standing in front of a group of ministers. He said this has been widely reported. So it wasn't like a secret that he had apologized. He had. I think everybody, at least people of a certain age or folks who were, paying attention probably remember all of that. But yeah, this did not go over real well when he was asked about this yesterday.
Right, and the Today Show version of it versus the CBS This Morning version was very different. But, it was funny because the former president said no, yes, when asked specifically about it. And you have to wonder, and then you had, the remarks of the New York Senator Kristen Gillibrand. Is that right? Gillibrand, who said that Clinton should have resigned back then. He should have left office. And those were tough questions for him to answer as well. And again, I guess it's one of those must tune in moments, whether it's radio or television, Tanya, where you get that uncomfortable feeling. And you definitely saw it on the former president.
Yeah, it was kind of uncomfortable to watch, especially the Today Show interview, because he was, and I don't know if you saw the video of it. Like I said, he and James Patterson were doing this, media tour for their new book that they've collaborated on. And, for the most part, there's been just a lot of fan reaction, a lot of people who want to read this book. They're fans of James Patterson, maybe fans of Bill Clinton as well. So, on Saturday at BookCon, which is held here in New York each year, it's kind of like Comic-Con except for books.
Right.
And I went last year. I went to the adjoining Book Expo this year, which is just a giant thing for all of the books that are about to come out in the next 6 or 7 months. Sort of a sneak preview kind of thing. BookCon was widely. There was a lot of buzz about it. It was the appearance by Bill Clinton and James Patterson was actually sold out on Sunday. It was extremely well attended, and you had during that viral video from the Today Show, you had him answering the questions from Craig Melvin, and James Patterson's just kind of sitting over there like, like he's sort of stuck in this because at that point he's just kind of like over there because they're not talking about the book, they're talking about the other stuff, and he did have a kind of a bit of an uncomfortable look, and I'm sure that probably was an uncomfortable time for him.
Well, I know you're short on time, but I just wanted to say this to you.
Tanya, hello there, Tanya. Is she one of my Parent Trap girls, I guess? Come on over to the show, Tanya. Tanya, come on over to the show and come up and say hello.
That is still one of my favorite things ever, by the way.
Right, but here's the hook. Guess who voices the president in that book?
No.
Yep. Dennis Quaid.
Really? He's
the voice.
That is awesome.
I'm sure you'll go out and get the audiobook now.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little tempted. I'm just gonna tell you. That is good to know.
We thought we'd end with a smile, considering the topic this morning.
I appreciate that. It's always good, and you normally end with a smile anyway, so it's always fun to talk to you.
Tanya J. Powers, take care, and only 3 more months till football season.
I know. I'm ready.
Take care.
Thanks.
Our great friend Tanya J. Powers. Kevin Miller in the morning here, 580-5436. 580-KIDO. Don't forget, you can win Kevin Miller's cash. Go to KIDOTalkRadio.com for details. Listen at 605-805 every morning for the cash code words, and then at 305 with Sean Hannity for your chance to win up to $5,000. Now, here's an easy one for us, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. One side you have the leader of the free world. On the other side you have the defending Super Bowl champions. Who are you backing, John Decker?
President on Twitter writing the Philadelphia Eagles football team was invited to the White House. Unfortunately, only a small number of players decided to come, and we canceled the event. He continued, staying in the locker room for the playing of our national anthem is as disrespectful to our country as kneeling. Sorry, he wrote. Philadelphia's Mayor Jim Kenney slammed President Trump as not a true patriot and a fragile egomaniac for disinviting the team. The president announcing on Twitter, "We will proudly be playing the national anthem and other wonderful music celebrating our country today at 3 p.m. At the White House, John Decker, Fox News.
You know, Bill Clinton could take a lesson from Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a winner. Exactly. Donald Trump is a winner. And Donald Trump is the only person that has beaten the liberal media. Donald Trump is the only person that has beaten the Republican Party establishment, the Democratic Party establishment, the media establishment, and just about any other establishment, and at one time the most popular sporting network, the most popular sporting league in America, the National Football League, and some would argue the world. And Trump has messed with the NFL, continues to mess with the NFL, and these liberal, well, we'll just call them the lib players that are so out of whack with the rest of America. You don't want to come to the White House? Good. You're not the boss of me. Don't come. How many years, especially I think back to our friend Patriot Ray, and if you're listening right now, Patriot Ray, you're in our thoughts and prayers. We love you. We love everybody, even the people that disagree with us. But going back to how many times when we would have the show with Patriot Ray and Tea Party Bob and Steve Ackerman occasionally on Saturday mornings, and we would say, when will we ever get a leader that speaks our language? When will we ever get a leader who tells it like it is? When will we ever get someone who represents America, who's not afraid to take on the libs, who's not afraid to take on Chuck Todd or Chuck Schumer or Nancy Pelosi? For too many years, conservatives, well, we got to be good. We can't be politically incorrect because the NFL will get mad at us. You know, we pay the NFL, whether you have over-the-air TV, whether you have cable, whether you have satellite, regardless, whether you have streaming. The NFL is a lucrative business. But the NFL, with its liberal, progressive, out-of-touch players, messed with the United States of America. Yeah, many people, my parents, they're done with the NFL. Used to watch it all the time. Done. Many of you done with the NFL. So you don't want to support the administration? Do you know what an honor it is? How many people listening right now would love to go to the White House? Would love to go and walk on the same floors as Lincoln, as Roosevelt, as some of our great presidents, as Reagan, as Trump. And when you go to the White House, you'll notice it's an old house. But to win a Super Bowl, to be honored by the country, and then to have the arrogance to say, and look, in America, that's the beauty of our great country. You have the freedom to do that, to say no. But the president also has the freedom to say, Golden State Warriors, get out. The president has the freedom to say, Philadelphia Eagles, get out. I think it's a great decision. Love to hear your thoughts. Or should the president take his medicine and have the Philadelphia Eagles there, and maybe that one of them could wear the dog mask? No, of course not. If you're not going to appreciate the White House. And I will say this, I admired the conservatives that wouldn't go to the White House with Obama, right? Obama didn't cancel it because Obama was more about being on ESPN than being on Fox News. But at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, this is another reason why the president wins. Love to hear from you next. 580 AM, 107.5 FM. Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Hey. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Joined by Mike Miniger.
Good morning, my man.
Well. If it isn't Mike Miniger, Mike.
You drew me out. This White House thing, you know, a couple of weeks ago, Martin Truex Jr., last year's NASCAR champion, the team was invited to the White House, and they were there with bells on. It was a great celebration. It was quick, and as it would be with a schedule like President Trump has, and it just did my heart good. And I think about all the athletes, and I might say the NFL stands out, the NBA stands out, and there's some common denominators there, I guess. But he did what all of us would want to do. Why would you want to hand the privilege of going to the White House, meeting with the president, be talked about on a national stage, and they don't want to be there? So this ends hypocrisy is what it is to me. I've seen those where I've read that they don't want to be at the White House, and then they show up and you see a bunch of grim faces. Why does he want to do that? I wouldn't. You wouldn't. The normal person would not. This plays right into my hand about the baker. in Colorado. I've had my business for 34 years. I have refused service to people, and I've had my reasons because I didn't want to be miserable. And I put that on Facebook yesterday on some post that somebody put up there saying this was all wrong. And as a business owner, this has nothing to do with gay rights. It has nothing to do with black, white, brown. It has to do with being an independent business owner that can choose who he wants to do business with. That's why some of us own our own business, so we write our own script. Now, do we throw everybody out that comes in? No. But if you've got an unreasonable client and you choose not to do business with them, that should be your right. The government should not be able to tell us who we're going to do business with. That's ridiculous. So forget the gay rights thing. Forget color. It's a business owner being independent, and that's the beauty of this country. My thoughts.
Well, I would agree with you on that, but, Martin Truex Jr., by the way, the only NASCAR team based in the West, not in Charlotte, North Carolina, a one-car team. They do their very best. What is it, Denver Mattress is their sponsor?
Yeah, the guy owns, Finch owns Furniture Row. And, Martin Truex, to get on to NASCAR, he was discarded by NASCAR basically when he drove for Michael Waltrip, and everybody else saw his talent, and it was just a matter of time. And what a great guy. I mean, I haven't had the opportunity to meet him, and I probably won't. But I know the guy who builds their engines in Costa Mesa, California, a guy named Gordy Jennings. And he got a job with TRD building those engines for the 78 team. And so I kind of feel close to it. And my race series, a guy named Matt Faulkner raced in my series for 2 years, and he's also the lead engineer for Furniture Row Racing. So I have some connection there, but that wasn't the point. I don't want to talk about that. It's just
Let me just say this to you, and let's get back out of the NASCAR here, buddy. I can go NASCAR toe to toe with you anytime, but that would not help our listeners.
No, it wouldn't be healthy for you, but that's fine.
You're right. A lot of things. Anyway, what about as you said, the privilege of going to the White House? Could you imagine that, being a guest of the president?
I would have went as much as I had disdain for Obama. I would have went to the White House if Obama invited me. I mean, Kevin, everything's a protest in this frickin' country right now, and I do not understand it. Where's the love of the country? And that's where I go sideways with the libs. Where is the love of this country? We are the greatest country in the world. We have had our problems. We know that. And some people just want to dredge up everything we've ever done wrong. Well, I don't want to live in that world. Do you? No, I know you don't.
No, I don't. That's why we're here, Mike.
Well, that's why I listen, and that's why I help support your show by spending my money with you. It's not because, well, part of it is your target audience, but a lot of it is my belief in what you're doing. I probably would send you money if there wasn't an ad for my business. I mean, I think people like me need to stand behind, if we're privileged enough to have the money to spend on advertising, even if it's non-advertising. I mean, I'm taking a risk, Kevin, because people that listen, I guess I somewhat would alienate some liberals, right? Because I'm pretty open with my beliefs, but I'm willing to stand there and do that. I know other business owners that won't show their true colors because they're scared to have somebody walk out the door. Well, I'm not. I truly believe in this system, and the older I get, the harder I am about it. The less I will talk to people that don't have the same values, because they're impossible to deal with. They do not deal in reality.
Mike Miniger, we appreciate you, brother. I'm overdue to come see you and drive over country.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that's never happening. I don't plan on ever. I mean, it would be great, but I can't depend on you anymore.
I'll see you, sir.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good morning, Dave. And Fox News next. Keep it here. Stay informed. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio.